If you want to be as hard as the ring apron, get Bluechew, promo code Denise. Bluechew is the chewable tablet that helps you have better sex. For more information on Bluechew, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. But now, let's go ahead and continue our SummerSlam Rewind. Today, we are chatting all things SummerSlam 2018. And this was fairly an enjoyable show. I thought there were a lot of good matches, some really good stories. So I'm actually looking forward to talking about SummerSlam 2018. So let's get to it. Let's kick things off with Seth Rollins defeating Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. So there was a cool moment here where Seth hit a frog splash and Dolph turned him over and almost got the pin. They did a superplex off the top rope. I mean, these two guys had a really fun match where they were getting a standing ovation. Of course, Seth Rollins gets a super kick and the curb stomp for the victory here. I thought that this was really exciting and possibly the best Dolph Ziggler match that I have seen, at least here at these SummerSlam rewatches. And I even liked this match more than the match that Seth had with Dean in the Lumberjack the last time we spoke about him. And I enjoyed that match a whole lot, but I thought this one was even better. So now, at this point, Seth is now a two-time Intercontinental Champion and a good start to the show. The next match that I want to talk about is Braun Strowman defeating Kevin Owens for the Money in the Bank briefcase. So this one was kind of fun too, even though I guess maybe you probably expected a little bit more from KO. But basically what's going down here is that Braun Strowman, despite everybody coming after him at the Money in the Bank match, still managed to win and get the briefcase. And also, I was so happy that this reminded me of the time that Braun Strowman locked Kevin Owens inside the porta potty and threw him off the stage. It was so freaking funny. But anyways, and the spot off the cage where he threw Kevin Owens off the cage into the commentary table. Another really cool moment in their little feud here. But this man, I mean, Braun Strowman finished Kevin Owens off really freaking fast in this match. I mean, he got him with 3 shoulder tackles, a sick choke slam on the ring ramp, and at this point, they still had the silver one, so you know that shit hurt. But then back in the ring, he gets him with a running power slam, and he wins. But anyways, this was really good, and we said a lot of really good things on last year's SummerSlam 2017, because Braun Strowman was part of that Fatal 4-Way, and I said, like, he was the MVP of that freaking match. Like, he looked unstoppable, and I felt like even in this match here with Kevin Owens, they continued to show that Braun Strowman was unstoppable. And I said this in the last video, and I needed to repeat it now, is that I miss this version of Braun Strowman. And now let's go ahead and get into some women's wrestling conversation. We had Charlotte Flair defeat Carmella and Becky Lynch in a triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And this one, I do want to go ahead and give some love over to Carmella because she was hustling in this match. She went in as the champion. So I loved the way that she really looks like she fought for this title. I feel like because, during this time, there were so many other women that were just absolutely killing it that Carmella doesn't really get the same amount of credit, but she really went in there and she worked her butt off. And this was a good little match. I really didn't think there were like any explosive moments in the match, but it was solid. So Charlotte gets her win and she wins her 7th women's championship here. Now, when I talk about explosions, the explosion really happened afterwards because Becky and Charlotte were hugging each other and Becky ends up turning on Charlotte and everyone is so freaking happy. And basically Becky reached her breaking point because she really wanted that championship. And the reaction that she got from the crowd was so freaking awesome. Like you didn't really see at this time a whole lot of women get reactions like that before. And she walks out with the fans chanting, "You deserve it." And basically having left Charlotte just completely dismantled and thrown on the floor after beating her up. And so you're going to see now this huge change in Becky Lynch from what we were seeing here today for her eventually becoming the man, Becky Lynch. And we're going to be having an entirely different conversation about her by the time we get to SummerSlam 2019. But this was so freaking cool. And this was also, things really started to skyrocket for Becky Lynch. And the next match that I want to get into is AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. So I got to first start off with the story. I love the story. It's basically Samoa Joe's calling him a failure of a husband, a failure of a father, and he's super savage, man. He even comes out and says that his family, that AJ Styles' family, is going to be rooting for Samoa Joe. He claims that AJ Styles never wanted a family and even claimed he received a letter from AJ Styles' wife, Wendy. So I loved how personal the story got. And the day of the show, we get AJ's family's in the crowd. It's his wife and his little daughter. And Samoa Joe even starts talking to the daughter and the wife. And so I really do like how personal this story got. But basically, during the entire match, AJ Styles was trying to like not lose his cool, which I kind of hated because I feel like that took away from the match. I feel like the match should have been a fight from the very beginning. Like it was fine, but I think it could have been a way better matchup. AJ Styles ends up getting DQ'd here because he just snaps and finally gets Samoa Joe with all of these chairs, which is basically what he had been trying not to do, but eventually did because, Samoa Joe had just gone way too far with everything that he had done to him and talked about with his family. I also thought it was funny that afterwards, once AJ snapped, he got scolded at by his wife who told him to stop. So that was really funny. But I liked the story heading into this matchup here. I really, really did. I thought it just made Samoa Joe seem like such a jerk, and it was perfect. So the next highlight that I want to get into is The Miz defeating Daniel Bryan. So the story here was that Daniel Bryan was his rookie. Daniel refused to take advice from The Miz, who claimed he was his ticket to the top, right? And Daniel Bryan wanted to be himself. He didn't want to be The Miz, and he realized that he didn't need The Miz, but that The Miz needed him. And The Miz essentially saw himself as superior to Daniel Bryan. The match itself was really fun, actually. The Miz does no kicks to Daniel Bryan, but Daniel like basically no sells them and then starts slapping the shit out of him. And Daniel Bryan gives him a really nice beating here. But at the end of the day, the Miz cheats. He goes to Maurice, who's watching in the front row, and she hands him some brass knucks. He gives a punch to the face of Daniel Bryan. Referee doesn't see it. And so Daniel Bryan gets screwed out of this victory, and Brie Bella gives him a pep talk backstage. So I liked the story. I liked the match. This was entertaining. The next highlight that I want to talk about is Ronda Rousey winning the WWE Raw Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss via submission. So this was a very short match here, but basically what we had was Alexa had called Ronda Rousey an overhyped rookie, and Ronda beats Alexa. She beats her up with her Money in the Bank briefcase. She takes out the referee, so she ends up getting suspended for 30 days. When she comes back after those 30 days, she's really, coming for Alexa and coming for that title. And during the match, it was a very quick match, so let's just get to the finish. Ronda tries to break the arm of Alexa, and finally once she locks it in very nicely, Alexa taps out, and so Ronda wins the title. And here she makes history, having been the first woman to hold a UFC and WWE title. So this was the match itself wasn't really anything. It was really more so the actual finish that was very fun to see. And the thing that I kept thinking about was like the aura of Ronda Rousey here was still very special, and people still cared about Ronda Rousey. And so I thought her aura was still protected here. But, unfortunately, we know how all of that ended up playing out. And last but not least, we had the WWE Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. So we would go on to see many Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar SummerSlam matches. God, we have seen these two go at it so freaking much, but there's a reason why, guys. They have really good chemistry with each other in terms of they have those really explosive matches that are so easy to get into. And this one is no exception. I mean, this one was really fun. It gets started off with a really, really hot start where Roman spears Brock 3 times, but then Brock gets him with the guillotine. And so everybody's like, oh shit, right? It's so funny because there's chants, people are chanting, you both suck chants. But anyways, Brock goes at one point to use the chair, but instead Roman spears him and wins the title. And so Roman here becomes a Universal Champion. So man, guys, I understand why we see a whole lot of Brock and Roman. And I know we got tired of it at a certain time, but they really did have these fun freaking matches. And I am looking forward to rewatching these because I always enjoyed their work together. Oh, and I forgot to mention that prior to this match, Braun Strowman had come out and said, like, he kind of teased he was going to cash in the money in the bank, or at least that's what people thought. But he basically told them that he wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to be a coward and cash in when his opponents had their back turned. That instead he wanted to wish them both luck and that he would cash in afterwards. So I love this, guys. This was really freaking good. And overall, a solid SummerSlam show. I felt like this one was definitely a better one from some of the last couple of years that we had been seeing. So let's get into the ratings here. So first of all, for best match, I have to give it to the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match just because it was so exciting. And for MVP, I'm going to give it to Becky Lynch because Becky Lynch got a massive pop when she turned against Charlotte Flair, and that was really great to see. Worst match, I have to give it to the Demon versus Baron Corbin. It was such a quick match, guys. Like, nothing really extraordinary happened there. But at the same time, I was kind of happy that it was so quick, so I can't really complain too much. But anyways, as for the rating of the show, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a rating of 10 just because I thought it was definitely a stronger SummerSlam. But as always, what did you guys think of SummerSlam 2018? What were your favorite moments? Did you like the show as much as I did? Let me know in the comments, and I will catch you guys on the next episode of the SummerSlam Rewind series. And if you guys want to check out some of the past episodes that I've done, I highly suggest that you guys check out SummerSlam 2000, SummerSlam 2002, SummerSlam 2005, because those are personally my favorites. All right, guys, catch you on the next one.